And part of the process, which includes sorting through tons of archival information, was interviewing both journalists of the era and those connected to his campaign. There are also on-campus resources like iHouse that help international students find their community and transition to college life in America. So I spoke to political science assistant professor Troy Goodell to break down just exactly how it works. We're off to a gradual start here at the Central United Methodist Church polling location here in Knoxville. That makes for a quick turnaround time for voters, something that voters heading off to work early this morning appreciate. For the history department, it was a huge success as they were able to move just across the street to the Stokely Management Center. A new hangout place for many students, standing right where Memorial Hall once stood, has a surprising purpose. I spoke with officials and students about how a water feature is helping our environment. RAM is hosting a free medical clinic this weekend. It is first come, first served. You do not need your ID, and the medical services offered will include dental and vision.
She is wanting to create this safe space for, people who look like her and I that are within marginalized communities, and just bring people in to where they can feel at home.
Miss Morris was created by Anika Anderson to provide a community and safe space, an idea born out of her move to Knoxville.
And then it was like, okay, wait, we don't know anybody. I started to feel really lost and very alone.
And current events.
Seeing people and individuals that look like me and talk like me and that come from a different country similar to me, seeing them being hunted down and targeted really broke me.
Anderson started this journey earlier this year, opening the online shop in March, but had a lot of trouble finding a physical space.
It's a new business, so it's you're trying to convince landlords and you're trying to convince other people to take a chance on you and to also believe in you.
Something that had a negative impact on growth online.
It's hard to grow in a community that wants everything to look aesthetically pleasing.
And was only resolved after 8 months of searching.
Once we found the space and we were like, hey, we're going to be opening soon, we have news, that's when things took off.
Now with the opening coming up, there's a lot of hope about the future of Miss Morris.
I just hope people come and can enjoy themselves and feel when they walk in, it kind of just feels like home where you can just breathe and be yourself.
And plans to give back to the community once Anderson is more settled. In Knoxville, Alexis Brunson, Vol News. The Knoxville bus system looks different today, to the delight of some Knoxville residents like Luke Jones.
Pretty much, I'm glad that they are doing that to make Knoxville a new look.
In the form of CAT Reimagined, routes like the trolleys have been reformed into different routes or expanded, something that many citizens criticized when it was first announced last year.
Wasn't originally happy because, free is, free, that's a good thing. But the point is that Knoxville has to make their money one way or another.
Many of their criticisms have been addressed with aspects of CAT Reimagined. For example, the Downtown Connector bus continues to service downtown in the same way that the Green and Blue Line trolleys did. In addition, routes like the 11 and 17 will continue to service UT's campus through the Strip.
They discontinue the Orange Line. I'm pretty much, wouldn't mind riding the 11 or 17 or whatever bus goes down yonder.
However, the public's part of the old Orange Line will now be served by UT buses. CAT is also looking at strategies to make the buses more affordable, like free fare for UT students and fare capping, as Isaac Thorne, the director of transit, explained.
What fare capping allows them to do is they can pay as they go, and as soon as they hit that $30, it's free for the rest of the month.
So while people won't be riding the trolleys anymore, they will still be able to get around using the bus system. In Knoxville, Alexis Brunson, UT Today.
Can you tell us more?
Of course. Dr. Amber Rosner was working on a book covering former President Carter's campaign trail when she met him. And part of the process, which includes sorting through tons of archival information, was interviewing both journalists of the era and those connected to his campaign, including former President Carter himself.
When I was young, so about 8, 9, I would hear the name Jimmy Carter but I wouldn't always hear anything positive associated with his name.
Dr. Amber Rosner found herself fascinated by former President Carter at a young age. And now she can say that she's written a book about him.
So I often joke that I spent more time studying and writing about the campaign of former President Carter than he spent on the campaign trail himself.
Work that took a lot of effort.
I was on the leaderboard in the Carter Library for a time in terms of number of boxes that I had looked in. So like 500 boxes of material.
From sorting through archives to looking through a decade of news sources and interviewing about 25 people. And yet, one of the hardest parts for Dr. Rosner was getting the interview with the man himself.
And then persistence was how I got the interview.
Continuing to ask and use connections despite the rejections.
And then I sent him a copy of my first book, which was about baseball. And Jimmy Carter is a huge baseball fan. And I wrote an inscription in the book and said, like, please give this kid from Winder a chance. And sure enough, I got the interview.
An effort that Dr. Rosner says paid off in the end.
It was a really enjoyable process overall, I would say.
And taught her so much more about former President Carter and his view on that era in his life. Now Dr. Rosner is working towards a second book on former President Carter. This one focused more on his presidency and the legacy that it left. And this time around, it's a little bit easier for Dr. Rosner as she already has a lot of material to work with as she gets back into the groove of things.